Heads up, Bears fans. Something real is moving between Hollis Hall and Dallas right now. Quiet calls, tight calendars, the kind of mid-season chess that doesn't leak until it's already on the board. You can feel it. A shift in tone. A sense of we're not waiting for January. And the front office mapping out a mood that speaks to need. Identity and urgency all at once. Here's the promise. We're going to unpack why this moment makes sense. What the staff wants to fix first, where the roster has flex to give and room to grow, how the cap math can work without handcuffs, and why the partner on the other end is, yes, the Dallas Cowboys. We'll lay out the timeline windows, the roles this move would touch on offense and special teams, and the realistic versions of the return, not fantasy football stuff. Football stuff. You'll get the full picture. Profiles that fit the scheme, how snaps would be distributed without blowing up chemistry, what this means for Caleb's comfort and the run game's rhythm, what it says about the edge rotation and the middle of the field on defense, and how a pick swap or conditional pick can grease the wheels without mortgaging anything. All signal, no noise. This is Bears News Fan Report. Hit that like, subscribe if you live and breathe Navy and orange. And ring the bell so you're here when moves actually drop. We talk like fans, we think like coaches, and we respect your time. Let's set the table. The Bears are in that tricky space where the big picture is bright, but Sundays still swing on the little things. A stalled drive because a short yardage call got muddy. A special teams lane that didn't close. A pass rush that's one beat late on 3rd and 6. The headline names are doing headline things. The margins decide the win column. When you're living in those margins, the front office starts looking for snap-ready, answers that don't require a month of onboarding, and you know the recent history. This regime doesn't sit on its hands at the deadline. They've moved for help when the need was obvious, and they've cashed out when the value was right. The pattern isn't swing wild. It's surgical. Fix the thing that's costing you possession after possession, week after week, and do it with a player who knows how to play his role on day one, cap-wise. The cleanest moves right now are the ones that carry affordable 2025 numbers or expire after the season. Paired with the classic grease, late-round swaps, conditions tied to playtime, maybe a 2026 sweetener. Nothing reckless. You boost the floor, protect the ceiling, and keep the board open for the off-season. Now, why Dallas? Because their roster has pockets of depth that match the Bears' pain points, and because their front office is no stranger to value trades when the board tilts. You think core special teamer and nickel flexibility? They've got it. Rotational edge who compresses the pocket and sets a firm edge in early downs? They've got that archetype. Backfield variety with a back who can bang between the tackles and handle pass pro without blinking? That's a Cowboys staple. The Venn diagram of what they can move and what Chicago can use right now has overlap. What we're hearing around the league grapevine is not loud. It's disciplined. That's how serious stuff sounds in October. Nothing splashy. Just the right people comparing notes, asking for medicals, confirming usage, making sure the conditional language is tight. When the calls are quiet and the asks are specific, you're not dealing with rumor wind. You're dealing with a framework. All right, here's the headline you came for. And remember, we earned it with context. The Bears are working on a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. The framework on the table is a depth plus impact play for the margins. Think a role player with immediate special teams value and rotational snaps at a position that trims the third down stress. Tied to a modest pick component, late round swap with conditions, not a first page ransom. It's not a jersey selling bomb. It's a February wins move disguised as October business. If that sounds underwhelming on paper, that's the point. The Bears don't need a new headline. They need cleaner possessions. A Dallas defender who wins the C-gap and doesn't bust contain. Or a nickel who communicates traffic and tackles in space, changes third down math right away. On offense, a sturdy back who reads inside zone with patience and keeps. The quarterback out of third and long is not glamorous. It's winning. This is about stacking small advantages that add up when the weather turns. Let's talk fit. On defense, the Chicago front thrives when edges compress without losing outside leverage and interior help arrives on time. A rotational end who doesn't freelance, plays with his hands, and understands rush lanes lets your stars win from clean pictures. Pair that with a slot who can handle option routes, rally, and tackle. Now your linebackers flow instead of firefight. 10 snaps here, 12 snaps there. 2 drives where the opponent settles for field goals instead of touchdowns. And suddenly the offense is playing with tempo instead of chasing. Offensively, if the pieces are back, the checklist is simple. Ball security, blitz pickup, decisive feet. You don't need 60 yards in one shot. You need 4 yards when everyone in the stadium knows it's inside zone. A back who squares up the mic and buys the quarterback a clean second. Hitch makes your play action credible and your RPOs honest. That's how you protect a young franchise QB, not just with stars, but with pros who do the little things right. Timeline matters. Medicals and language on conditions are the usual speed bumps. If the player has any lingering soft tissue notes, the acquiring side will guard playtime triggers. Expect wording like active on game day X times or snap share Y over Z games to flip a pick from late to late plus. None of that changes the thrust. Both sides see a path to yes if the details don't get cute. Locker room dynamics? This is where Chicago's culture helps. Bringing in a role player who knows exactly why he's here tends to lift the room. Veterans appreciate dudes who run to the job. Special teams coaches will be the loudest smiles in the building because hidden yards and field position win when the calendar turns. On the Dallas side, they're not gutting a core. They're trading from surplus to clean up tomorrow's board. Both sides can sell this internally without mental gymnastics. Schedule fit. Look at the next 4 opponents. Styles vary, but every single one punishes sloppy edges, missed tackles in the flat, and protection busts on third down. You can preach details all week, or you can add a pro who turns details into habits in real time. If the paperwork clears midweek, the first usage is usually teams and a package call or 2. Week 2, the snap count grows. By week 3, he's part of the rotation, not an addition. What about costs? The front office isn't touching the premium picks for a role player. This smells like a 6 that can become a 5th on playtime, or a 7th for 6 flip with a small guarantee offset. Contract-wise, you want a number that can be swallowed cleanly with simple restructures, or expiring money that lets you reassess in March. That's why Dallas is a good dance partner here. They've got veterans and ascending role guys on. Digestible deals. Let's hit the what-ifs. If it's defense, and the edge room tightens, you'll see better third down calls because coordinators call games when they trust edges to hold and tackles to finish. If it's nickel and special teams, hidden yards start tilting sooner than people realize. That one punt down inside the 5. That one return sprung by a disciplined vice rep. If it's a back, the red zone menu looks less predictable. Play action sells when linebackers respect the downhill. Risks? Always. Role clarity is key. You don't want to step on a young player's growth curve or create a snap count tug-of-war. Staff has to be clean. Here's your job. Here's your package. Here's how you win. And the new guy has to be who he's been on tape. Sturdy, reliable, coachable. If either side gets cute, the move turns into a headline and nothing more. Keep it boring, keep it winning, zooming out. This kind of trade is how good teams behave when they believe in themselves. You sharpen the parts that squeak, you reinforce the hinge points, and you send a message that Sundays matter enough to sweat the small stuff. You protect your quarterback, you help your defense finish, and you let special teams tilt a field or 2 a month. That's a playoff recipe long before it's a viral clip. Now I want you in this. If the deal lands, where do you want the first impact? Edge help, nickel grit, team's ace, or a bruiser back? Drop your take in the comments. Name the spot, Name the role. Tell me which down and distance you want fixed first. This channel is better when your voice is in it. My personal opinion? I like the move, the shape of it, the timing, the message. The best teams get boring and precise in October, and this is that. And to be crystal clear, this is a well-sourced read of the situation, but still a speculation, not an official announcement.